Hi everyone, and welcome back to Inside the Tiger Den. Thanks for all the support with our first release last week. We hope you enjoyed getting to know our first 11 captain and club coach Nathan Goods. Tonight we're going to be acquainted with our committee for the 2020-21 season and have a talk with the club's president, Michael McMahon, about his take on presidency, the committee's goals for the season, and what to look forward to in the future.
Alrighty, we are very privileged today to welcome the newly elected president of the Beaconsfield Cricket Club, a long-time member of the club, life member, 3 times club person of the year, and one of the most dedicated and knowledgeable representatives within our club's community. Michael McMahon, it's an absolute pleasure to have you today. How you been?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Locke. I've been really well, mate. Just like everybody else, just ticking away through these trying times, mate. So other than that, my health's well.
That's good to hear. Now, today we're going to focus on purely a presidential point of view. Not going to have enough time to go through all your incredible achievements on the field as well. You served this club extremely well during your time here. When did you first join the club?
So I joined in season 99-2000. Yeah, that'll be right. Yep.
You're the newly elected president of the club. How excited are you for this role?
Well, it's an exciting role. I guess it's not a role for everyone, but it certainly follows on in my footsteps and what I was doing the previous couple of seasons of being vice president. I guess it was the next stepping stone. So excited, looking forward to the challenges, putting my own little stamp on the role. It's going to be a challenging one, no doubt, but I'm looking forward to taking on the role and looking after one of the biggest clubs in the DDCA. I grew up in the DDCA, played my junior cricket there and a lot of senior cricket prior to being at Beaconsfield, and would love nothing more than to have success at the top level for our club.
Yeah, now this isn't your first rodeo, Mick. You've been on the committee for a while now. You've had executive roles in the past. So what year did you first join the committee and what inspired you to join it?
I first joined in about 2005. Now, going back then, prior to that, I was captain coach of the club, but I was working closely with Steve Keane. I was more of a player and he was off field, but I struck up a good relationship with Steve and we sort of worked together at Country Week quite a bit. So seeing it from the other side when I was sort of getting to the end of my playing days at top level, I always wanted to give back to the people that had given me so much over time. That's why I decided to jump on the committee.
Now, obviously an exciting time at Beaconsfield. Mick, what major projects are taking place at the moment and what's to come into the future?
Well, I guess, there's a couple of projects there. One that's actually in the middle of going ahead right now, and that's the shed, which, poor old Shane Hester's been screaming out for quite a few years because he's been operating out of a shipping container, which has not been ideal, getting that roller and mower in and out of there. So that's actually happening now. And, I've posted photos there that the shed's actually up. It'll be a great asset to the club and for him. There's also storage space in there for us to utilise. So that's certainly one of them. The second one for the upcoming season would be the change rooms, the development of the change rooms. So effectively what's happening there is that they're actually going to gut the old change rooms out totally, and they've got a new plan and they're going to include all new male and female change rooms, which is great for us as a club because having the junior girls side there, they had nowhere to get changed. And, if we want to go on and look at having women's cricket as part of our club, we needed to have those female change rooms facilities. So that's a big one. That's also right at this point, I believe it's out to tender. It may have even been awarded, but just due to this COVID, we can't actually get going on it. So as soon as this COVID sort of lets up a bit, you'll find that there'll be major changes down there and those rooms will be kicking off. So that'll be another project which will be great. I guess the third thing there is something that, has always been screamed out for by many members at the club over many years since I've been there is a playground for their kids to play on. I mean, many mums and dads, come down to the club, and Dad plays cricket and Mum sits there, and little Johnny and whatever's got nowhere to sit and play. So we're going to put a playground there in front of that shed, and subsequently, that'll make a big difference to how long Mum and Dad can sit down and enjoy the cricket, and then have a beverage at the club at the same time, knowing that the kids are well occupied in the playground just over.
Yeah, it's really exciting, isn't it? We just had the renovation of the nets as well at the far end, so really building something strong here.
Absolutely. Credit to Steve. We jumped on board last year, the two of us, and there was a real necessity to extend those training nets. They were too short, and obviously the run-ups weren't ideal on grass. With help from funding from Jason Wood, who helped achieve some of the funding to get that net centre up and running, we did extend it out in I think it was about 10 to 15 metres, and extended the bays as well. So now we've actually got training facilities equal to, or if not better than, most clubs going around. And having 6 training nets there, I think we're well served.
Yeah. So what goals do you and the committee have for the 2020-2021 season?
Well, certainly the goals, from the committee's perspective, is to grow the club, grow our member base, and also increase our social membership base. We want to continue our push to become the club of destination. Out there's a few other clubs at the moment who are just pipping us at the post, but we want to be that number one, and we want any available player that wants to play cricket, we want them coming to the Beaconsfield Cricket Club. Some of the other things, like we want to increase the interaction between for social functions between junior and senior. Over the time, that seems to be something that we've lacked a little bit over the years, through no fault of anyone's. But we really want to focus in on trying to get that junior parent involvement into the club, and bringing them on board into the senior club, and enjoying the facilities that we've got.
Yeah. Now, in my opinion, this is a really strong and integral committee we have. How important is it for you individually as a president, and for the club, to have such a well-built and dedicated committee?
Oh, mate, seriously, very important. Without the volunteers who all share the one vision that I have, it becomes very difficult to continue to grow as a club. If you're all moving in the same direction, then it makes life a lot easier. Without the dedication of your voluntary committee, the job would be near on impossible to get done, mate. So it's vitally important.
Yeah, now as I touched on before, it's going to be a very different year to those previously. So what challenges do you see this presenting the committee, and how do you plan to overcome these obstacles?
Well, that's a big one, given the situation that we're in now with this COVID. Certainly for us as a group, the biggest challenge we're going to have is player welfare. Keeping everyone healthy by ensuring, all the safety measures are put in place that are handed down by Cricket Victoria through the DDCI into the clubs. So that's the biggest one. That's the biggest challenge we've got. How we'll overcome it. As a club, we're going to appoint a safety officer at the club who will be overseeing those processes and instructing what needs to be handed out from Cricket Victoria and the DDCA. So obstacles through that that are going to affect us. Our social functions are no doubt going to be affected. Our raffles are going to be affected. Running a bar is going to be affected, because right now we don't know that we're actually going to have the opportunity to run any of those. So ways that we can try and combat those is that, we're going to rely heavily on our social media. So likes of, Inside the Tiger Den, our Facebook page, club website, the team app, and the players forum are going to be our method of communication whilst through this period, and we're going to try and generate some revenue that way. So it's going to be very difficult. I know it's going to be very unique, but you know what? We've got a committee, a hard-working committee who are prepared to go over and above. So that's what some of our obstacles are going to be this season.
Yeah, now, what would you say to anyone considering joining the committee at Beaky?
Well, why not? why wouldn't you? Jump on board. Do it. That's what I'd say. Great clubs like ours, they run on volunteers. If you want to improve the club, if you want to grow the club, you want to make a difference in the club, this is the place to do it. This is your opportunity. So, a lot of people have got different ideas on things. And when you walk around, you talk to people, you hear different ideas. They're no good if they're just ideas left behind. So, you know what? Jump on board and, your ideas, throw them out there because more than likely, they turn into something which is good. So, jump on. I would say 100% jump on.
Yeah, and in relation to that, what would you say to anyone considering joining Beaconsfield, the club as a whole?
Well, first thing I'd say is welcome to the club that continues to grow. It's the club that keeps on giving, I guess. We've got a great opportunity for players and their families to actively participate in their local community through the club. Our club is 6 senior teams, a masters team, 10 junior sides, and a girls team. We've got fantastic volunteers, who care about your opinions and who want to make change. We've got the only turf wicket in the Cardinia Shire, which is an envy of a lot of the clubs in the Shire of Cardinia, which we're proud of. And you know what? Most kids coming through want to play turf cricket. Hard wicket cricket is great up to a certain point, but as both you boys know, it's not the greatest cricket playing synthetic cricket. You can do that when you get old and past it like me, but you want to play on turf. That's what you want to do. I mean, you want to pit yourself against the better cricketers. So we can offer a great junior program with a pathway into playing senior cricket for both boys and girls. So, yeah, I would say absolutely. Once again, jump on board. Come aboard.
All right, Mick. Now, what are you most looking forward to this season?
I guess for me personally, I enjoy watching the young ones come through, much like you guys. I like watching the development of you players come through the grades from whether it be starting in thirds or fourths and making your way up to seconds and hopefully ones, to get a game in the ones and play at the highest possible level you can play at is certainly something that I enjoy seeing, knowing that along the way, it's nice to recognise that you might have had a little small part in along the way of helping these young ones with a bit of words of wisdom. Looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to all sides perhaps taking that one step further. I think we had 5 out of 6 sides playing a semi-final last year, so it would be nice if we actually got 6 sides into a semi and 6 sides into a grand final. So, I mean, success breeds success. This club is got a proud, rich history of success. We're a leader. And so, I'd like to see everyone get their opportunity to play in a grand final and achieve some success. So laying the foundations for our future success is something that, is something to look forward to.
Yeah. Now, what do you see the club looking like in the next 5, 10, even 15 years?
It's an interesting one. The club will change, no doubt. And I think as many people who will come in and out of the committees over that period of time, it'll change and it'll change for the better. I think we'll see our club become a destination club with sustained success at the top level within the competition to work. And that'll be backed up by people who have put in many hours over the time, and hopefully that we can become and stay as a sustained club in that top level. I personally can't wait for the club to hold a Turf 1 premiership up. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
To everyone at home, we've tinkered with it a little bit. We've got some feedback from some people and they wanted us to fit in more questions. So what we're going to do is instead of putting you on the clock, we're going to have the clock running, but we're going to turn it into a bit of a competition. So we're going to see who can get through 10 questions the quickest. That's how it's going to work. So once again, Mick hasn't seen these questions, so he doesn't know what's coming. But we'll put you up on the clock, Mick, and we'll see how quick you can get through them.
All right, we'll see how we go.
All right.
Which guest are you most looking forward to being on Inside the Tiger Den?
Michael Van Dorp.
If you could remove one method of dismissal in cricket, what would it be?
LBW.
Who is your favourite person to play cricket with?
Craig Jennings.
Do you prefer playing cricket pre-Christmas or post-Christmas?
Pre.
Yes or no, wicket keepers wearing short sleeves?
No.
Who is your least favourite person to run between the wickets with?
Jeff Bliss.
What's your go-to pre-game meal?
Pasta.
What is your favourite cricket stadium in the world?
MCG.
What is your greatest achievement on the field?
Oh, good question. Oh, bloody hell, you've got me there. God. No, I can't think of it, to be honest with you.
All right, who will hit the first 6 onto the new storage sheds?
Nathan Goods.
Bang, through it. Well done.
Impressive.
There we go.
50,
Did we get through?
57 seconds.
57
seconds. Beauty.
57.
Well, you're in first place, Mick. You're in first place.
That's great.
We'd love to thank you again, Mick, for your time and being a guest on Inside the Tiger Den this week. We loved looking into your wisdom and your knowledge for the future that you've got for us here. And once again, thank you for coming on.
Good on you, boys. Thanks very much. Much appreciated.
Cheers. Thanks, Mick.
Cheers.
Thank you for joining us in the latest instalment of Inside the Tiger Den. We're currently looking at releasing content every fortnight, so stay tuned for another episode in a couple of weeks, and we'd love any feedback from anyone of what you've enjoyed so far. We'll catch you next time inside the Tiger Den.